Good evening, Rotary family, and welcome to PELS 2025. Permit me to acknowledge our district leadership. I don't see any past district governors yet in the room, but I certainly wish to acknowledge our DGE, Soraya. I see our sitting district secretary, Giselle, is in. Happy to see you, Giselle. Special welcome to our presenter this evening, Andrea Krause, who will be formally introduced in a minute. I'm Liz Cox from the Rotary Club of Garden City, and I'm your moderator for this evening. I'm being ably assisted by our district learning team as well. And just to remind you of some Zoom protocols, please update your Zoom display name, stating your name and your club name, so that all persons can get to know you. And if we can get some more videos, that would be nice as well. Please select your language by clicking on the globe at the bottom of your screen or the side of your screen and selecting your French or English, depending on what language you speak. We do have interpreters in the room. Keep your microphones muted when you're not speaking. This is to minimize background noise, and this is also to ensure that our recording is clear. You will be allowed to use the raise hand feature during the Q&A session. Place questions. We've allotted 15 minutes at the end of the session for Q&A session. So please place your questions in bold letters in the chat. To set the tone for this evening session, I would like to invite our DGE, Soraya Warner Gustav. Before I do so, I wish to share an abridged version of her bio. DG Soraya is an active member of the Rotary Club of St. Lucia for the last 15 years. She's a very passionate Rotarian who served in several leadership roles in her club, including president in 2018-2019, and she achieved significant milestones during her term. At the district level, DG Soraya served as district secretary on the PDG Lyle in 2020-2021. But it was her leadership role as the district interact chair that has cemented her name into the history of District 730, where she focused on the upskilling of youth service and leadership, and by extension, shaping the future of our leaders. She's a founding committee member of the Worldwide District Interact Chair Association and a current director. And this group really seeks to connect Rotarians serving in the role of district interact chairs. And all those who are passionate about interact. Soraya is a Paul Harris Fellow, a charter member and continuing member of the Paul Polio Plus Society of our district. And she's a member of our Paul Harris Society as well. Yes, she does work. She is a corporate banker for the last 30 years and is currently the general manager and assistant vice president for an alternative investment firm, Cygnus Capital. And her mantra is, she believes that beauty and the essence of Rotary is this extraordinary opportunity that it brings through numerous channels to serve, transform, and to make a difference in our world. Please join me in welcoming DG Soraya to introduce the topic and to say a few words of her own about tonight's session. DG Soraya, the screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so very much, AG Liz. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first official PELS session, one of 7 in our online learning series. I'd like to start off by acknowledging the past district governors on the call, our district leaders, and of course, all of our president-elects, secretary-elects, all incoming club leadership. Welcome. Among the past district governors is our very special guest, past district governor Rotary Action Plan champion, Andrea Krause from Zone 25B, Zone 29. Andrea will be introduced more formally in a bit, as indicated by AG Liz, but I wanted to acknowledge and extend our thanks and welcome at the outset. I am so very excited for the opportunity to have PDG Andrea deliver a presentation to District 7030 on Rotary's action plan, that powerful planning tool that clubs can utilize to enhance their service, increase their membership, and create lasting positive change in our communities. Now, I know this is a packed session, and so without any further ado, I will hand over now to AG Liz to formally introduce our guest, past District Governor Andrea. Thank you so much.
Thank you, DGE Soraya. Our topic this evening is titled Vision to Action, and Andrea will bring that to action. The session will be led by Andrea herself, who is the action plan champion for zones 25B and 29. And her presentation will focus on the 4 priority areas. And we will have a presentation followed by interactive breakout sessions. And I would encourage you all to participate actively. Before I hand the screen over formally to Andrea, please allow me to share a brief on her background. Andrea Krause has been serving communities for over 20 years as a member of the Rotary Club of Russell in Kansas City, USA, and that is District 5670. She served as a distinguished leader at her club level as president, at the district level in multiple roles, including assistant governor and governor. At the zone level, she serves as a regional action plan champion, and hence the reason why she's here this evening, and has been serving in several facilitator roles in zones 25B, 29 institutes. She was recognized with the highest honor for individual Rotarians, the Service Above Self Award, for her work on the team that merged 2 districts. Andrea is a serving member of the Rotary International Strategic Planning Committee. She's a member of the Paul Harris Society, a major donor, and a member of the Bequest Society. I'm sure you will agree that Andrea is more than qualified to guide us through this session as Rotary Action Plan. Share her tips with each club and can help us all by setting goals that align with Rotary International's priority areas. Please give Andrea a warm welcome, a warm Caribbean welcome. Andrea, the screen is yours.
Thank you, Liz. I'm so pleased to be here with all of you this evening, and I'll share my screen with you all. So I assume everyone can see that, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we're seeing
Okay.
it.
Okay. So in 2023, Rotary International conducted a survey of growing clubs in North America. And they surveyed approximately 350 clubs that had consistent growth between 2018 and 2023. They ended up surveying approximately the top 4 to 5% of the approximately 8,200 clubs located in North America. The criteria to be selected as part of this group is that the club must have had a total net increase of at least 10 members over the past 5 years, and they must have had net growth in at least 3 of those last 5 years. So as part of this survey, clubs were asked to report how frequently they use the action plan to help grow their membership. They ranked each of the 4 priorities of the action plan on a scale of 1 to 5. And what they found is that clubs that were successful in growing their membership reported that they used the Rotary Action Plan often in planning the activities and the processes of their club to grow their membership. And what the survey found is that there were several key characteristics that most growing clubs exhibited. On average, growing clubs had an attraction rate of 25% per year. So for example, if a club had 100 members, over the course of that year, they brought in 25 new members. Growing clubs also make it a priority to fill their key leadership positions. They also set goals in Rotary Club Central. The survey discovered that growing clubs tend to have a larger proportion of female members. They have around 40% of their membership as female. Worldwide, that number is closer to 26% female. They also have a greater percentage of members that are under the age of 40. So growing clubs have about 10% of their members which are under the age of 40. Worldwide, that number is closer to 5%. So in the end, the survey came up with one key takeaway. The primary takeaway of the survey was that growing clubs have higher attraction and retention rates because they focus on creating an irresistible club experience by using Rotary's action plan. And by creating that irresistible experience for the members, they naturally retain their existing members, and it makes them easier for them to recruit new members. So now we're going to spend some time talking about the Rotary Action Plan and how you can use it within your clubs to strengthen your club and attract new members. On your screen, you'll see Rotary's vision statement. Together, we see a world where people unite and take action to create lasting change across the globe, in our communities, and in ourselves. I certainly hope that this vision statement is familiar to everyone on this webinar. We also have the need to try to help our club members become more familiar with this vision statement as well. And one suggestion I might have for you as presidents-elect is to consider having your club members recite this vision together at the opening of every club meeting so that everyone can be speaking with one voice throughout all of Rotary.
Yeah.
The action plan consists of 4 priority areas: increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhancing participant engagement, and increasing our ability to adapt. By utilizing the action plan as a framework for all of your club's strategic planning, you can help your club to enhance your participant engagement and to elevate your club's presence within your community. You can also more easily address local and regional challenge and identify ways to drive and improve your club's impact within your community. So now we'll get into a discussion of the first priority of the action plan: increasing our impact. For each of the 4 priorities, Rotary International has developed a set of strategic objectives. The strategic objectives for this priority are to eradicate polio and leverage the legacy of that going forward into the future and using what we've learned to tackle other challenges. To focus our programs and offerings in order to better enhance engagement and to increase our impact in the programs that we implement around the world. And the third one is to improve our ability to achieve and measure the impact that we make in other people's lives. So we're going to start our first breakout session. And the 4 questions I'd like you to discuss during this breakout are: number 1, how does Rotary International define the term impact? Number 2, how does your club identify projects that it plans to undertake? Number 3, why is it important to measure the impacts of your club's projects? And finally, number 4, how can publicizing the impact of your projects actually benefit your club? So you can begin the breakout sessions now.
Right. Thank you, Andrew. Just to give you a little heads up as to how it will work, you have been pre-assigned to different groups, so you will see your group appear in front of you on the screen. You select that and you enter that room. It's for 12 minutes and automatically you will be removed from that room. If you finish before, you can come back to the main room. You have 3 minutes after you come back. We'll have 4 breakout sessions for each priority area. And you come back into the main room and one group 1, will take the first report. Unfortunately, we can't take from every group, but group 1 has been selected to report from to the main group once you come back into the group, and group 2, and so we go down the line. So Tanya, we can go into the group. So
And just one more thing,
Just
that
one-
all
yeah.
our French speakers, we
yes.
ask you to join group number 3.
Three.
If by some chance you have been assigned to a group that's not that, please return to the main chat and we will get you into the correct French speaking group. Thank you.
Welcome back. Welcome back to the main room. Now, group 1, we assumed that you would have selected a reporter. So if you could proceed to share your discussion in brief. We have 3 minutes to share your discussion. So go right ahead. Group 1.
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Elisa Graham. I'm the president-elect for the Rotary Club of Antigua. With regards to our questions, I will just go through briefly. How does Rotary International define impact? Upon discussion, we spoke about thinking about the sustainability in terms of addressing the projects that are important for the community, finding solutions which will have a lasting impact. What positive change that will result from the project that is chosen, long-term effects on the overall community, and of course, evaluating the projects after completion, making sure that there's proper documentation, documenting the process, documenting the positives, and documenting the challenges to ensure succession planning, as well as if when another president take over, another board take over, they can actually execute the project accordingly. In terms of the question that says, how does the club identify projects? Well, the general answer on this was to ensure that there's a needs assessment and identify clear ideas as to how the project will be executed. Why is it important to measure the impact of the club's projects? We spoke about the importance of identifying funding, collaboration, partnerships, and overall in ensuring that it has a meaningful impact on the community. And for the last question, why I did not write down that last question, but I remember the answers. It speaks about bringing awareness to the community, identifying the improving the reputation of the club, and also ensuring that we spread the good work of Rotary, and also securing financial support. I think that had to do with the importance of the public image aspect of Rotary.
Good job, Elisa. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Those
Really.
are all great answers. So one other thing that I would mention with respect to how Rotary International defines impact is to remember also that those impacts we're creating are a direct result of our actions, and that we as Rotarians are having that impact on our local communities as well. So just a few points with respect to increasing our impact for us to remember is that it's also important to develop a strategy for educating your members about why it's important to have impactful service projects, because we need to use our time wisely. Our members' time is valuable and limited, and we need to make sure that they understand that we should only take on service projects that truly will have a long-lasting impact within our communities. And not only should we conduct a community assessment prior to taking on a project, just as we just heard from Group 1, but we should also do that community assessment once the project is completed as well, so that we can see where we were when we started, what the conditions were in the community with the need at hand, and how that has improved and how we've alleviated some of those needs through our project. By doing that, that will help us to measure the impact. And of course, we should only focus our efforts on those service projects that really can make an impact within our community. Most of our clubs have legacy service projects that we do year after year after year. So not only is it important to do an impact assessment for those, or a community assessment for those projects that we're considering taking on. But we should also do those for projects that we've had for many years to determine whether or not the need within that community actually still exists. And then finally, as we heard from group one, there's many reasons to measure our impact and publicize that impact in our community. But not only should we publicize that within our community, but we should also put that information, those success stories on Rotary Showcase at rotary.org, so that other members in Rotary can see what we've done. So now we'll go on to the second priority of the action plan, and that is to expand our reach. So the strategic objectives that Rotary International has for this priority is to grow and diversify our membership and our participation, to create new ways for participants to experience Rotary, not only for our current members, but also non-members, ways for them to also participate in the things that Rotary does, to increase our club flexibility and appeal, and to also build an understanding of Rotary's impact and, importantly, our brand identity. So the questions that we will be discussing for this breakout session are, number one, how can your club attract new members? Number two, how can your club create new ways for participants to experience Rotary and to participate in the projects and events that Rotary holds? What can you do to promote your club, its activities, and its projects in your community? And then finally, question number four, why is it important to use the resources in the Rotary Brand Center?
All right, thank you, Andrew. Again, it's 12 minutes. Please select someone to report, and group two will be reporting when we come back into the main room. So off you go to your rooms.
And
Tanya.
just a reminder again that if you would like to be in the French group and you're not assigned there, please let us know. Come back to the main chat or send a note in the Zoom chat. Thank you.
Welcome back. I know there is lots of chatter going on in all the rooms. Yes, group two, it's your turn to report. And I know you've identified a reporter, so we're right ahead.
Yes.
We have 3 minutes.
Oh boy,
Carla?
it's a report. Woo, okay, I'll speed it up.
Carla.
So on question number one, how can your club attract new members? We looked at a mix and outreach, showcasing the value of membership. We looked at community projects and the ability to highlight local, regional, and the international impact of projects. Also, we spoke about hosting events, fellowship, community service projects, and really getting those people in the community and maybe other people who could become sponsors and so forth involved in the fellowship activities. So, sorry. All right. Question two, new ways for participants to experience Rotary Fellowship. Ask potential members to join in fundraisers, get participants engaged in service projects, do a little bit of reward and recognition now and then, adjust meetings to accommodate everyone because we know members are working and studying at the same time and so forth. And a very important one, mentorship and a buddy system. Don't leave participants, don't leave them out in the cold, you know. There's another one that rolled over into how do you promote your club's activities in your community? And that one, the first and foremost was visibility and branding. Make sure that in your projects, your clubs are visible to passers-by. So you must have proper branding, have community engagement, collaborate with businesses and schools, and use social media. Use social media campaigns, reach out to everyone, because someone said everyone has a phone in their hand. And the issue of press releases actually came up. If you have the media who is on your side, you can have press releases issued. Is it only 4 questions? The last question, is it why use the resources in Rotary Brand Center? Yes?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, so a lot of things came out here. We'll be compliant with standards, Rotary International standards. We'll be compliant with established protocols. We will also have consistency, uniformity. We'll build recognition and trust. And of course, because we are professional volunteers, we exhibit a certain level of professionalism. Also, the Rotary Brand Center presents us with video resources. It allows us to guide the club in mission and vision and so forth. So we have mission and vision statements for guidance. And it also allows for, because Rotary International is so diverse, it allows for the use of different languages and so forth. So we actually bantered with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and inclusiveness. So that was also reflected there in the Rotary Brand Center. That's it for now. Thank you for listening.
Right. Thank you, Carolyn. Andrea?
Well, thank you so much. Another excellent report from Group 2. So yes, in addition to the answers that we just heard from Group 2, when looking for ways to attract new members, you might consider using the membership tools available on rotary.org to do a club assessment, to take a fresh look at your club and an introspective look at your club from sort of a third party viewpoint, and see if there's ways that you can make the club more attractive and more appealing to new members. And then you can go about making changes to attract those members. Another way to for other participants to experience Rotary is to collaborate with other groups in your community on your service projects. Another service group, or even corporate employers within your community. Find other groups that have similar interests in the service projects that you've identified and invite them to participate as well. And then don't forget, when you are telling about your service projects and promoting your club and its activities, be sure to tell compelling stories about the things that you do for your community. One of the worst ways to promote your club is the big check photo. I'm sure we've all seen them, where we have a gigantic check that we're presenting to an organization. Rather than talking about the dollars donated, people want to hear about the impact that we have made. So storytelling is a great way to do that. And then finally, Group 2 gave us many good reasons to use the Rotary Brand Center. And another one of those reasons is the templates that we have on the Rotary Brand Center. There's brochures, there's PowerPoint presentations that all have the branding already in place, so that all you have to do is plug in your information into that particular template. So now we'll go on to priority number 3, and that's enhancing participant engagement. So Rotary's objective—
Andrea, we are not seeing your slides. Could you reshare for us?
Not. Okay, let me minimize
Tanya,
this.
I was just about to ask if we were supposed to be looking at a slide. Thanks.
You are, yes. Let's see if I can unshare them. For some reason, the breakout seems to be causing me a problem with the screen share. So we'll try this again. How's that?
Yep, much better.
Okay, so let me go back up here to, so under participant engagement, the strategic priorities for this area of the action plan is to support clubs to better engage our members, to improve understanding and support of individual participants within our clubs, to offer new opportunities for personal and professional connection, and then finally to provide learning opportunities for both leadership development and skill building. So the breakout questions for this session is to, number 1, how can your club support its new members? Number 2, how can your club find out what your members want from their club experience? Number 3, why is it important to involve club members in decision-making within your club? And number 4, how can you help your club members to develop their leadership skills?
We're all set again, same system. You go into your group, we discuss it for 12 minutes. Please select a reporter and you come back, and please let our reporting be brief, 3 minutes. Thank you.
And also our French delegates, please let us know if you've ended up in the wrong chat by putting a note in the Zoom chat for us.
And the French group will be reporting when we return.
Yeah.
Bonjour à tous, Gaël, Rotary Club de Shellshare en
Good afternoon,
Martinique.
everybody. Gael from the
La
Club of
première
Shelter
question
Martinique. The
était
first question
comment
was,
notre club peut
how
accompagner les
does
nouveaux
our
membres.
club
Alors, les propositions étaient
welcome new members?
de fournir,
We
de
were
mettre en place
suggesting
du parrainage en
a
plus du
system
tuteur
of
et un tuteur
of
de façon
sponsorship
à
along
pouvoir
with a tutor,
accompagner à chaque
so that the
instant,
person can have
confier des
somebody to
actions
go with them.
pour permettre de mettre dans le bain tout de suite un
We
nouveau
should,
membre, lui donner des
another club
responsabilités pour qu'il se
suggested
sente
giving
utile.
a member responsibility right away, so
En
that
ce
they
qui
can
concerne la
induct them right
question
away.
numéro 2,
With
comment votre
regard to
club peut-il
question 2,
savoir ce que les
how
membres
does your
attendent de
club,
leur expérience au sein du club?
what members
On est
expect from the
sur de la
club?
convivialité, des échanges
We looked at
post-réunion
exchanges after the
statutaire.
meetings.
On est sur des
We
sondages
suggested
et bien évidemment le lien entre les
surveys,
parrains et les
and
tuteurs
of
qui vont
course the link
justement
between
faire un reporting
the sponsor
régulier et
and the
s'assurer
tutor, who will
que
report
les
back to the
membres se
club
sentent bien.
to be sure that the member is
Pour la
feeling
question
good.
numéro
So the
3,
third
pourquoi est-il
question,
important
why
d'impliquer
is
les
it
membres du
important
club
to
dans la
involve
prise de
members of the
décision?
club
Ça va
in
être
decision-making
soit
process,
pour les fidéliser,
to allow them to
c'est
feel involved?
pour maintenir la convivialité au
This is
sein du club,
to
c'est
allow for
pour que le club
conviviality
soit
in the
plus fort
club,
et
so that the
atteindre
club is
ses
stronger
objectifs.
and can
De
achieve its
plus, les nouveaux
objectives.
membres vont
Furthermore,
apporter de
new
nouvelles idées,
members
vont
can bring
permettre
new
au club
ideas, which would allow the club
d'innover
to be
et
innovative
toujours d'être dans l'air du temps.
and to be up to date.
Enfin, quatrième question,
And the
comment
fourth
pouvez-vous aider les
question,
membres du
how
club
can
à
you help
développer
new
des
members of the
compétences de
club to
leadership?
develop
Alors, outre
leadership qualities,
la formation,
besides training,
notamment grâce
especially
à My
thanks
Rotary,
to
il paraît
using my
évident
Rotary?
que tout ce
It
qui
is
va
clear that
toutes les actions, la mise en
everything that we
place
must do,
d'activités,
activities,
d'organisations vont développer
organization,
des
which we're
compétences
going
de
to develop,
leadership
this would
au
allow them
niveau
to
des
develop
nouveaux membres
these
et de
leadership
l'ancien
quantities for the
cadre.
members, and they should be able to benefit from this exercise.
Je
Oh
pense
là
que
là.
c'était tout,
I think that
Jean-Marc.
was all besides Jean-Marc.
J'ai rien oublié.
Did I forget anything?
Okay, thank you so much, Group 3. Another great set of responses. So yes, and in addition to assigning a sponsor to your new members, consider implementing a new member orientation program in which they can learn about what it is that your club does, and they can learn more about Rotary International as a whole. In addition, as part of that orientation program, you can better help them to understand what the club's expectations are for your new members. One of the reasons that members frequently leave clubs is there's a misunderstanding or disconnect between what the new member thinks their responsibilities are and what they want from the club and what the club is asking them to do. And by doing a new member orientation program, you can share that information right at the beginning of their membership. Also, Group 3 mentioned a survey. Rotary International has a member satisfaction survey that you can find at rotary.org on the action plan webpage, and that's allows you to determine and get feedback from your club members to find out exactly what they are wanting out of their experience. And just as Group 3 reported, that involving club members in decision-making makes them feel included and involved. And even when you can't include club members in decision-making, if it's a small decision that the board is going to handle, be sure and report out to your members at the next club meeting so that they know what kinds of decisions have been made by the board on their behalf. And obviously include them allow the club to vote on anything that involves a major question or a major issue like a new project or a new event. And then finally, don't forget the Rotary Learning Center as well as a way to not only help members develop their leadership skills, but also to help them learn about the roles that they will be filling when you appoint them as club committee chairs. So now we'll go on to the fourth priority of the action plan, and that is increasing our ability to adapt. So Rotary's strategic objectives with respect to this priority are to build a culture of research, innovation, and willingness to take risks, to streamline our governance structure and processes within our clubs, and also to foster more diverse perspectives within the decision-making process within our clubs. The 4 questions for this breakout discussion are, number 1, how can you generate new ideas for your club? Number 2, why is it important to delegate tasks to other club members? Number 3, how frequently should the club review its bylaws? And finally, number 4, why is it important to set 3-year goals?
Tanya, Tanya, how are we doing with time? Are we going to use the 12 minutes or
I
will it
think we
pass?
Yeah.
should probably go for about 9 minutes for this
9
one.
minutes? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, group 9 minutes and group 5
4 and 5,
and 5 will be reporting. So off you
perhaps in a
go.
2-minute period.
Yes.
So I was with group 4 and I'm Sarah Joseph, originally Rotary Club of Caribbean Plus, the first e-club in Rotary District 7030. But for our group, when we focused on how we can generate new ideas, we felt things like brainstorming from within the club members, surveys as well, and trying to understand the community needs, doing directly liaisons with the communities and coming up with interactive projects that they need. And we had some wonderful use cases in our group with going out to the schools, doing skits with the kids and getting them really involved in these types of projects. Why is it important to delegate tasks? It's a way of keeping members engaged and involved. It helps build leadership skills as they learn about key responsibilities and ways to lead projects eventually when they become leaders. We really want to break the 80-20 cycle in that 80% of the work is done by only 20% of the members. So there was a lot of talk about how we can change that narrative and try to focus on appreciating talent, new ways of thinking with younger and more dynamic Rotarians and giving them support when they come up with out-of-the-box ideas. And the idea of the buddy system, mentoring, and shadowing of more seasoned Rotarians as we have young ones coming in, or new, I should say, not necessarily young in youth, but new Rotarians coming, doing these things to help delegate tasks so we have sustainability. I feel question 3 was maybe a trick question. I hope we answered it correctly. Annually, at club assembly, at the end of the year, and really helping us to analyze how the clubs operate so we can have opportunities to make changes that are meaningful instead of doing it on an ad hoc basis. And of course, importance of 3-year goals, maybe another trick question. Very important for consistency, succession planning, and continuity. As presidents, when you come towards the end of the year, sometimes you get a little deflated, but having a 3-year plan is good because it means the club is always focused on the vision. Even when we as Rotarians tend, and it happens, we want to just take a sideline after some time. But that 3-year plan is great for us to continue the good work that we're doing as a club and sustain the club. Thank you.
Thank you. Could we have group 5?
Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Kadesh
Yeah.
Bailey from Rotary Club Antigua. And as Rotarian Joseph said, there are several things that were echoed in our discussions. For question number 1, how can you generate new ideas for your club? We looked at local issues. And when we say looked at local issues, for example, in Antigua, water supply tends to be an issue. And there are certain areas in the society that tend to have challenges. And one of the things that we look at is how can we help with that? So we keep a pulse of what's going on locally in conjunction with what Rotarian Joseph said. On to question number 2. Why is it important to delegate tasks to other club members? We echoed the same sentiments as Group 4, and we also looked at the importance of preventing burnout from key members, for example, directors, board members, etc. The other thing about delegating tasks to other club members is it increases the likelihood for new creative ideas for the execution of said task. Rather than the same set of persons executing the task, we can delegate it to other individuals, and they may have a new look, a fresh way of completing it, and that might actually serve as some invigorating force, breathe new life into the club, if you will. Now, how frequently should the club review its bylaws? Just as Rotarian Joseph said, we also said annually, and it helps us to remain compliant with Rotary International. Also, and this came out very strikingly, it helps to ensure that the locals club's values are codified while remaining compliant with Rotary International. So while we are compliant with Rotary International, we have a sense of not really autonomy, but this is me, Rotary Antigua. This is me, the E-Rotary Club. And finally, for question 4, why is it important to set 3-year goals? It promotes continuity, as was previously said. It helps projects, the persons who are on these projects, to be the same persons carrying it on rather than starting over from scratch. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. It helps to promote continuity for leadership transitions. It helps to ensure that identified projects are executed and maintained. And it helps, and this I think is one of the biggest things with a 3-year goal. When we look at the concept of budgets and grants and finances, especially grants, having a 3-year goal, it enables everyone to plan accurately and adequately. And that is what we discussed.
Okay,
Thank you. Thank you, Kadesh.
Yes, thank you.
Andrea?
Both groups 4 and 5 had great ideas. The only thing I think I could add to what I've heard from those 2 groups is that another reason to delegate tasks to other club members is not only for the reasons that we heard from these 2 groups, but also to help you see those club members in action. And that will help you to identify those that offer the greatest potential to be your future leaders so that you can identify them well in advance and help them to prepare for those future leadership roles they'll be taking on, and help them get the training they need to be effective leaders in the future. And so let me just, before we move on, I just want to say that you guys are all rock stars. We had great answers from every group. Hopefully everybody was able to take away some new ideas that maybe they hadn't heard before, or things that they hadn't thought about before. And that's the goal that we have behind these group discussions like that, is the answers are they're in the room. It's just a matter of getting them out in the air, and so that we can learn from one another and hopefully take those ideas home to our own club. So we finished up that priority with the question about setting 3-year goals. So I'm just going to quickly talk about that. It's, if you don't know where you're going, then you won't know when you get there. And goals help us to establish the target that we're trying to reach and help us to establish a path to reach that target. Something that is a bit new within Rotary is the idea of 3-year goal setting. In the past, we used to set goals for just 1 year. So 3-year goal setting, as we've heard, will allow for continuity over the course of time. And these 3-year goals are constantly rolling forward. And I've got a graphic that I've got on your screen here to help demonstrate how that works. And so just looking at the first line, you can see that the current year president is going to work with Pat, the president-elect, and Tom, the president nominee, to set those 3-year goals for 2025 through 26, 26 through 27, and 27 through 28. And you can see how those goals roll forward from year to year, each year involving the new president nominee in that planning process, so that all 3 of those individuals are all headed towards the same targets and the same goals to create that continuity going forward. The Rotary International Board of Directors has established 6 priority goals that it is asking every single club to set, not only for the current year, but also the 2 following years. Those priorities include service participation. How many people do you intend to involve in your service projects over the course of the year? How many club members? The second one is club membership. What is your target for your total club membership at the end of the year? With respect to giving, they want to know, what is your total club and member annual fund contribution goal for the year? So what are the total contributions to the annual fund to be given by the club and its members over the course of that time? The same goes for Polio Plus, total contributions for the year. And then with respect to the endowment, you probably all heard about the efforts to reach $2 billion, $25 million within the endowment. And so that goal is asking how many members of your club will make plans to remember the endowment fund in their estate planning or contribute at least $1,000 cash contribution to the endowment fund sometime during the year. And then finally, the 6th goal is are you going to have an up-to-date strategic plan by the end of the Rotary year? So those 6 goals, I would ask at a minimum that each of you set those 6 goals for not only the upcoming year, but the 2 following years as well. In addition to those 6 goals, you can find additional goals that you can set at Rotary Club Central. And as we heard in the opening of this session, growing clubs are clubs that set goals. There's a total of 26 available goals at Rotary Club Central that you can set. In order to receive the Club Excellence Award from Rotary International, you must set at least 13 of those goals. Ideally, I would suggest you set goal targets for as many of those goals as you think are reasonable for your club. And in order to achieve the award, you just must achieve at least 13 of those goals by the end of the year and report those achievements on Rotary Club Central by June 30th. It's very important that you remember the June 30th deadline. They do all need to be entered by the end of the Rotary year. So with that, I'd just like to remind you that all of the resources that we've talked about today are available on the Action Plan webpage at rotary.org. Not only the ones we discussed today, but we have an Action Plan toolkit there that is full of additional resources that you can use to help grow and to and strengthen your club. And so I hope that each of you will take advantage of that and increase our membership within each of your clubs. So with that, I would open up for questions if there are any. I realize we're a little over time, but we probably have time for a few questions.
Yep. Any questions? And you folks can unmute and ask your questions. I know there was a lot of discussion in the groups, lots of exchange of ideas and great suggestions as well. No questions? Andre, you were spot on in terms of your presentation. And I think the discussion also allowed a lot of exchanges, where some answers may have come out in the discussions.
Okay, well, that's all I have for you all.
All right. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
All right.
Hey guys, thank you. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great,
Have a
great
good night.
presentations. And
Thank
so
you.
I'd like to invite our district governor-elect, Soraya, to wrap up tonight's session. Soraya, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, AG Liz. And thank you PDG Andrea. This was truly an exceptional presentation. Thank you for agreeing without hesitation to our request a couple of weeks ago for this learning on the Rotary Action Plan. This was such an engaging and informative presentation. You were able to give life to the action plan such that I do believe that our incoming club leadership can now take back the learnings here to their clubs for use and implementation. So thank you so much for your presentation here this evening. And to our club leadership, I really want to say thank you for your awesome participation here this evening. I mean, we had 4 breakout sessions, but you complied happily, you embraced the process, you were engaging, and your feedback was exceptional, right? I trust that the session provided good insights for you on the action plan. And I can tell you that I'm already looking ahead to another outstanding year with a new group of president-elects, just based on your feedback here this evening. You have the answers for sure. The key here is really to utilize the Rotary Action Plan, which provides that clear and strategic roadmap for clubs, helping to align activities and goals with the broader mission of Rotary, right? So, and coming out of this evening's discussion, we have seen another key benefit of the action plan, which is the focus on expanding membership and engagement. And so by providing strategies for attracting and retaining members, the action plan helps clubs to grow and sustain their membership base. You also heard about RI's introduction of 3-year rolling goals, which encourages collaboration, continuity of leadership, and alignment of club goals. So the ask now is that all incoming leaders begin their planning with the Rotary Action Plan and its priorities in mind, such that by the end of PELS, you have a full outline ready to discuss with your officers, and of course, in preparation for the start of the new Rotary year. The expectation is that clubs will have a plan in place, ready for the start of their term. If there are still burning questions around the action plan, please do not hesitate to reach out to me directly for further discussion, but you can expect some handouts from us, courtesy of our wonderful presenter here this evening, PDG Andrea. So you can look out for additional information from us on the action plan. Thank you so much for your participation, and I look forward to seeing all of you on Thursday evening as we discuss leadership. Thank you so much.